Just doing a little video for you guys because I saw a lot of members asking questions about Office feature of the iDrive and connected drive and BMW apps features of the iDrive. So I just wanted to share my knowledge from my understanding of how this works. So basically, back in the days when I bought this car, my car is a 2012. So when I bought it new back in 2012. BMW used to really nickel and dime you when it came to features. So for instance, if you're buying a modern BMW 2020, 2021, and if you get it with iDrive, the iDrive comes loaded with all the features built in. Maybe the only thing that it might be missing is navigation, and I'm not even sure if that's a separate option anymore. But back in the days, pretty much iDrive itself was an option. So if you purchase the car with an iDrive, you get this nice fancy screen. Otherwise, you would not have a screen. But moreover, pretty much every feature of the iDrive itself was a separate feature that you had to purchase separately. For instance, telephone, which would have the Bluetooth connectivity, that was a separate feature. Navigation would be a separate feature. Office was a separate feature. Connected drive was a separate feature. And on the connected drive, you would have a BMW apps, which was also a separate feature. So, and those particular features, Office, Connected Drive, and apps, they were not expensive. They were only about maybe $200-300 each, but still it adds up. And when I bought my car, actually it did not come with BMW apps, and I did not even find out about the existence of a BMW apps until a couple of years later, when I bought another car that had it, and I figured out how to use it, and then I wanted it on this car, and I had somebody code it in for me, and the person that did the coding, he had to buy a key, an encryption key from BMW, and enable it, punch it into the ECU of the car, and enable it in my iDrive. So that cost me probably about the same that I would pay the dealership to enable this feature from the factory. So basically, the Office feature, what it does, it allows you to get your text messages and emails from your phone. If I click on it, it's going to display all of my messages right away. So I'm just going to point my camera away. I'm going to click on it, and basically you see messages. I'm not going to show you my messages because that's obviously private information, but basically it takes whatever text messages you get from your phone and shows you on your Office menu in the iDrive. You can also enable emails, but I do not enable email notifications because they're not that important. Text messages, I like having the ability to read them on the iDrive display as soon as I receive them. Then you have the Connected Drive, and Connected Drive has a bunch of features, and pretty much none of them work. It has roadside assistance, online, customer relationship, blah, blah, blah. All of those features, they do not work anymore because at some point in 2015-ish, BMW disabled teleservices for all the cars. And I remember actually they sent me a letter notifying me that some of the services are going to be disabled. This was not a subscription. This was a one-time purchase option that you would normally have for the lifetime of your car, except that they disable the services on their end, on their servers, and then those features become useless. So they sent me a letter notifying that they're disabling those features, and I believe they offered me a choice of like a $250 check or some sort of gift from BMW. And actually at that time I had two BMWs. I had this one, which is a 2012, and I had a 2015 X1, which I just only bought at that time, and they were disabling the services on both cars. So I think on one of the cars I took a gift from them. I think it was a bunch of air fresheners or something like that. On the other car they gave me a $200 rebate check. But basically what it allowed you to do is, I guess it allowed you to do something like schedule your appointment, right straight from your car for the service. Some bunch of trivial features. The one feature that was really useful, which it's not even listed here anymore. I do not remember where it was listed, either on the Office or on the Connected Drive, but it used to have a feature called BMW Messages. So I'm not sure about the full extent of its capabilities. I guess, BMW would be able to send you a message for like a recall or stuff like that. But the one way where it was very useful is I could go on my computer, let's say on Google Maps, and Google Maps used to have a feature, say, let's say I found a destination, and they used to have a feature to send the destination to my vehicle. And I do not remember exactly how it worked, but I believe I had to punch in the vehicle's VIN number into Google Maps, and it would send the destination straight to the car. So when, let's say, when I would go into my car, I would click on Connected Drive, and it would have a sub menu that said BMW Messages, and right under that, under BMW Messages, I would have that destination already sent to me, and I could click on it, and the navigation system would start, and it would start navigating me to that destination. So, it was convenient, so I wouldn't have to punch it in manually through the navigation menu, which can be very tedious to punch in with the iDrive controller. Not a big deal. The one other feature that it has, and this is the BMW apps, is that this is something that I had to code in. So this is a pretty nifty feature that I do not use it that much anymore, but I used to use it all the time, and I'll show you what I used to do with it. So basically, if I go back into iDrive and I click BMW apps, it says connect the external device to vehicle via USB. So your device would actually be your phone. So my phone has BMW connected app. It has my phone has two BMW connected apps. The brown one is the old one, and the blue one is the new one. So the old one is made for those old cars, the E70, and you can no longer get it under your app store. It is associated with my account on App Store, so I can still download it anytime that I want to. But if you have never had this app, you can no longer download it. It's not shown in Apple Store. Only the new app is shown, but the new app does not work with the old car. I use the new app with my other car, the newer car. So the way this works is I would connect my phone to the car through the USB cable. And I would start this app. So right away this app shows me, the fuel level, the fuel range, the total mileage, last update. I guess the last update, I'm not sure if it's the update to the app. I guess it's to the app, or maybe to the fuel status. I'm not sure. Doesn't really matter. So once I've done that, now it says connecting, so it's connecting to the car, and as it connects, it takes a little, it takes maybe 30 seconds to fully connect. If I go back to Connected Drive menu, all the apps starts to pop up. So these are the apps that are actually built into the BMW Connected app, and most of them are completely useless, like Vehicle Local, Twitter, Calendar, News. They're pretty useless. You don't need stuff like this in the car. The one feature that was really useful is Web Radio, and I have no idea why they discontinued this app, because this was super useful. So let's say, and once it started on the Connected Drive BMW apps menu, the Web Radio would also show up under your regular radio menu. So there's two ways to access it. You could go to your radio menu and see Web Radio. Does the same thing. So when you click it, here's the beautiful thing about it. It's web radio, streaming radio from the internet, and it has thousands and thousands of stations that you could search for by location, by genre, from Europe, any part of the world. You have, Belgium. Let's see what Belgium has. Yeah, every city in Belgium shows you all these stations available over there. So it's a really nifty web radio app, and it's not offered in the new BMW connected app. BMW does not offer anything like that anymore. So I'm gonna disconnect my phone. Once I disconnect my phone, watch what happens. The web radio is gone. So your phone needs to stay connected with BMW connected app open in order for you to be able to access those features. In the newer cars, for instance, this was really made for the E70, but in my F96 this app still worked, and I didn't even have to have the phone connected through USB cable. The app worked even through Bluetooth connection. In my newest car, which is the F96, this app does not work at all, so they completely phased it out in the newer car. And they've been actively phasing this app out completely. They don't even want you to use it and even know about its existence even in the older cars. I guess this is their way to persuade you to buy the new model, or whatever their strategy may be. So the one more thing that I want to show you under this app. So basically it has the status of the vehicle, BMW apps, which it's the same list that you just showing that you guys just saw in the car. And it has more apps. So strangely enough, last time I used this app, it used to show me a whole list of other apps that are compatible with BMW apps. Right now it doesn't show me that list anymore. It's whenever I choose, whenever it tells me to choose the store, and if I choose United States, scroll down to it, United States, and it just keeps searching and doesn't show me anything. So it doesn't show me anything under more apps. But like I said, in the past it used to show me a whole large list of all kinds of apps that were compatible with BMWs. I do not remember all of them, but I do remember some of them, and some of them are pretty popular. For instance, Audible, TuneIn Radio, Pandora. So for instance, let's say we start Pandora. So let me just hook my phone back up to the car. So if I start Pandora on my phone, and now if I go back to the connected drive, and if I go to BMW apps, it should connect. It's not connecting. Okay, it's connecting now. It says my phone now. It says connecting, and sometimes it takes a while to connect. But once it's connected, it's very responsive. Once it's on the screens, just because it's an older system, so it takes a while to connect once in a while. So now Pandora appears on my BMW apps. So now it says to use Pandora, log in through the external device. I do not have a Pandora account. I don't use a Pandora. But if I had a login into Pandora, I would be able to control my Pandora playlist right through my iDrive. And it has, a bunch more apps. Most of them are probably useless. I remember back in the days, there used to be a pretty cool GoPro app where you would connect the GoPro to your phone, and then if you had the GoPro connected to your car, if you had it on your windshield or elsewhere in your car, you would be able to start and stop recording right through your iDrive screen. That was a cool feature, but I know that app is no longer available at all. But there are other apps that are still available, and unfortunately BMW is trying to hide them from you, persuade you guys to buy newer cars. And in the new car, there's a bunch of apps that are actually built straight into the iDrive screen that you don't even need to connect to your phone anymore. And unfortunately, the most useful one of them, the web radio, they do not offer that anymore. They want you to use other services, which I personally, like lately I've been using YouTube Music, and my wife, I think she's using Amazon Music, and so that kind of works out. So this is about it. If you have any questions, ask away. I'll be happy to answer them.